Good morning, everybody. I'd like to take a minute here and cover a topic that I'm almost certain is killing a lot of our veterans. I want to talk a little bit about moral injury. You know, when I separated service in '07, I don't remember anybody talking about that. And when I started working with veterans in the courts back in 2015, I don't remember a lot of focus on it. But I'm grateful I'm starting to hear more and more people talk about it. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to interject a little bit of opinion here, but know that that opinion is based off a lot of experience working with a lot of veterans, a lot of combat veterans. And I'm also well aware that this part right here makes people a little uncomfortable. So I urge you to stay with me. Stick with me here for just a minute. But I truly believe that there is something in every human being that you cannot take away. And you'll hear it called a lot of things. The light within, the God within, our soul. I refer to it commonly a lot of times as love, but I'm well aware that that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. So let's change that word for a minute. Let's change it to community, because in my world, those two words are synonymous. This community within, it's something we never lose. We can see through time that this is how we've survived as a species, to recognize this sense of community, harmony that's within all of us. You can't get rid of it. Nobody can take that away. I don't know how else to explain that. But my experience has shown that you can squash it. You can put it a little bit at bay. But the only way you can do that is you need something constant and loud. It's got to be constant and loud, continuously, to suppress this essence, this sense of community. We never lose it, but we can disconnect from it. So how do we get to this loving, harmony, sense of community to the most far extreme as you can get? Conflict, war, combat. How do we get from here to here? Or here's another good way of putting it. How do we get from this loving space of community to becoming a member of the most elite fighting force on the planet? And I'm here to tell you, you might think I'm a little biased, but I'm here to tell you, we are. We have the most elite fighting force on this planet, and we do it well. I hate this word, but it's one of the things that makes us a superpower. I've seen it. We do it really well. So how do I get there? How do I get from this loving sense of community to becoming a member of the most elite fighting force on the planet? How do I get there? How do I suppress this internal love and light and community? How does the military do that? We train. Oh, it's there all the time, man. We're training. Even when we go to combat, there's no downtime. We're training. It's continuous. It never stops. It's right there all the time. It's loud and it's right here. It's continuous. Can't quiet it. It's there. We're going to train you so much that some people may call it brainwashing. I don't know. But we're going to train you. We're going to change your psyche. We're going to make you think different. And it's got to be continuous. It's got to be loud. It's got to be there all the time. We're going to train you. We're going to train you so well that you don't have to think. The Army doesn't need thinkers. That's not what we do. We need doers. There's no time to think in combat. You got to train. It's there all the time, man. It's loud. And then what happens? We come home. Or a better way of saying that is we separate from service. And this gets a little lighter and a little lighter. And also what happens is our essence starts to creep back in. This is going away. My true self is coming back. And right there is some immediate conflict. At that point, right there, oh man, it's so hard to describe. It's a reconciliation of the soul. Because what happens is this question starts coming up. And it gets louder and louder and louder. This question. And it sounds something like this. What the fuck did I just do? How in the world could I have ever done any of those things I witnessed in combat? How could I have done that? That's not who I am. How did I do that? I can't wrap my head around it. And it gets louder and louder and louder. There's no more of this. This has gone away. This is your true self. That point right there, it's so fucking loud. Right there is where intervention is needed. You need it right there. Please believe me. That's where it needs to happen right there. But I'm telling you, oftentimes it doesn't happen. There is no intervention because it never gets reported. You have to understand that the minute you share that question, you're in direct conflict with the mission. Do you understand? The minute I share that question, I have lost a brotherhood that I laid my life on the line for. This brotherhood means everything to me, everything. And I'm going to lose it and everybody in it if I share that question. Because you don't have that question in the military. You don't have that question in combat. And if I share that, I'm going to lose you. And if I share it with the civilian community, if I share my experiences with them, then I'm labeled a monster. Either way, I'm fucked. I got nobody to talk to. There is no intervention. And it's going to get so loud that you're going to drink, you're going to smoke, you're going to bump, you're going to shoot, you're going to do whatever you can to quiet that fucking question. And ultimately, you're just going to put a bullet in your head because that damn sure quiets it. You know, when I talk about suicide and suicides in my unit, first of all, please understand, I would never downplay the act of suicide. That's not who, I'm a suicide survivor. But I need you to understand that some of these suicides, they weren't take a note and go out quietly. Okay, that's not what these were. These were veterans with loaded 45s running at law enforcement and just getting mowed down. These were veterans that took a shotgun, turned it on themselves in front of their 3-year-old daughter and wife. These were civilian law enforcement soldiers that when they got home, they turned their service weapons on themselves. I'm telling you, these were violent acts of death. And I suspect a lot of that was moral injury. I think it's killing a lot of us. I'm so, so grateful that we're starting to talk about it. So, so grateful. And that's what we do at Warrior Now. I have to tell you that the first time I heard somebody talk about moral injury, it changed my life. I immediately could breathe. Nobody was talking about that. That man changed my life. And you know what? It wasn't sitting in a psychiatrist's office. It wasn't sitting in a PTSD group. It was sitting on the bank of Lake San Rayburn in deep East Texas with a Vietnam vet that was pouring his heart out to me. That's where I heard it. That's what we do at Warrior Now. We try to get you out of the house, man. We got to get you talking. Whether it's with a bowling ball or a fishing pole, we got to get you out, man. We got to get you talking, man. So I hope this might help somebody. And I hope that, I hope just the awareness itself will help a lot of us. And again, I'm so grateful that the conversation has begun. Thanks, everybody.